YouTube, I'm MC Go 101, and in today's video we're going to be changing out a front right motor mount on this 2008 Acura TL Type S. Alright, so we'll get into the nitty gritty. Long story short, I'm replacing this as preventative maintenance. It's the originals are still in the car. I'm going to start with the front right. It is the easiest. Once I get that and a few other things done, I will do the front and rear engine mounts as well. So I thought I'd do a quick video on how to do this one. First off, I went with a GSP mount. The reason being is there is a lot of aftermarket ones, like Anchor and Beck & Arnley, but they don't have the greatest reviews and they only come with a 1-year warranty. I did happen to find this on Summit Racing, and this one actually came with a 3-year manufacturer warranty. I've had good luck with the GSP line. I have the axles and they have worked great so far. So once you have the good part or your part picked out, tools you'll need: 3/8 ratchet, an extension with a 10 mil for the ground wire. A short extension on top will help. You'll need the 17 mil for the large bolt on top and the large ones on the side, and you'll need the 14 mil for the bracket bolts. So once you have the tools lined up, we'll get the job site all fixed up and ready. So I'll show you how to go about jacking this up. So I'll get some light. Now under the car I have 2 jacks. The 3-ton blue floor jack on the center cross member, kind of hard to see. So that just gave me more access. Then I took the small jack with a piece of wood. The wood is important. And I have just went under the oil pan. And now I haven't really jacked it up, but I have put pressure on the oil pan, and it's just to keep the engine in place. Because when we let that motor mount go, it would drop to one side. So the piece of wood there is just to hold the engine in place while we change the mount out. Now once we pull the mount out, it may drop a little bit, and we may have to jack it up like a 1/2 inch or 1 inch just to line everything up. But you'll want the piece of wood so your jack isn't going to dent anything like the oil pan. So that is pretty critical. So once you get that, you'll pull your side engine cover. And so here's our mount in question. You'll see this guy right here is the one we're after. Pretty sure it is original. So first things first, your power steering reservoir, it's actually on a sliding clip, so you can pull it up and out of the way and then tuck it under that air conditioning line. And that's going to give you nice access to everything you need. So I'm just going to get this set up on a tripod and we'll show you how to do it. Okay. So first thing I'm going to do is start with the little black ground wire at the back. So you'll see I'm using 2 extensions. Pop that loose. Try to do the rest of it by hand. See if I can pull that out. I definitely don't want to be losing any of these nuts because it sucks chasing them down. Alright, so make sure you don't lose that nut. And push the ground wire to the side. So now we'll grab our 14 mil. Now we're going to start with this bracket here. Cracking that loose. Then you can just use your fingers and grab a hold of them. because we will be reusing all these bolts. Good size bolt. And again, like I said, just preventative maintenance. These are the original mounts. So I'm trying to improve overall ride quality. This is a great place to start. So then we're going to work on the larger 17 mil. This one's a bit bigger. Can't quite do that one by hand, but almost out. And now I can do it by hand. Perfect. Make sure you don't lose the bolt. There's our bracket. Keep that to the side. Now we have full access to that mount. And what's interesting is I'm glad I'm doing this because you can grab the ring and you can tell that that's broken inside. Good timing. All right, so now the larger bolts on the bottom that hold the actual mount to the frame. These ones, of course, are on there pretty good. When in doubt, break out the power tools. So, without a doubt, this is overkill. Really? Okay, I didn't like that. See if it likes this. Johnson bar for the win. And bolt number 2. Make sure you don't hit anything. Okay, now that they're cracked loose, we'll get our ratchet back on it. Now that they're loosened up, I just use power tool to speed up the process. One good sized bolt. I'm going to clean that one up on the way in. Number two. Bolt two. Now you can remove your mount. And here it is. Grab the end. Oh yeah. She's cooked. Hard to see. Oh, yeah, it's ripped. Totally torn. So just as preventative maintenance, this is great to keep an eye on. I'm just feeling some harsh road noise when driving over certain bumps, etc. So I thought I would start with the basics. So I'm just going to clean up the mounting points. All right, so now reinstallation. So we got our nice brand new GSP mount, which is very hard. I can't even move that. What a difference. And we'll slide this back in place. All right. So once you have it in place, we'll get our bolts, we'll get it started. And again, this is just a common issue for these cars. It's a wear and tear item. And when you factor in that you do have a heavy V6 under the hood, it does help. So before I reinstall this though, I'm just going to clean up these bolts quick. All right, guys. So as you've seen, the one bolt for the actual mount was real tough to come out. Here it is. This upper portion of the threads was just, if I can focus, was completely gummed up. So sandpaper and wire brush, clean that right up. So I'll put that back in place. Another thing to note is when you're putting the actual mount in, one position will look like it's off center. So you'll want to flip it around until it is perpendicular to the engine bracket. And just to speed things up, I'm not going to torque it down with this, but just to get it threaded. And we'll do the same for the back one. So once that's in place, I'm going to torque that down by hand. Good and tight. That ain't budging. And then we'll continue with reassembly. So now we have our new mount installed. We need to attach the bracket. So we're just going to rough that in place. And you'll see that that lines up pretty good. Then we'll get our long bolts. I'm going to start this bracket first. Should be able to start those by hand. Yep. And we'll get these torqued down by hand as well. My apologies, family aggro. So we're just getting the upper aluminum bracket in place. So I'm just going to lightly screw these in. Now that's in place. Perfect. I'm going to torque that by hand, but I'm not going to do it yet. And what you'll notice is everything is still lined up. So using the small jack I had with the piece of wood under the oil pan has held the motor right in place where we want it. And that's what I wanted. So we'll take our last large bolt. We're going to feed that through the bracket. Which this is what actually connects the mount to the bracket. And we'll tighten that up. Again with our 17 mil. After seeing how bad this mount was, I'm excited to do the front and rears. I hear the rear is a real pain in the behind, but we'll deal with that when we get to it. Alright, so I am going to hand torque this one while I'm at it. That's nice. Now we'll go ahead and get our last, and very important, is the ground screw. So I'm going to just take a little sandpaper to the mounting surface. And then we'll very carefully feed that in. So there is the ground wire. You want to make sure your bolt grabs a hold of that. And we'll try and get that threaded by hand. Excellent. Then we'll get this tightened up. So one thing I'm going to do is just push the ground wire away from the nuts so it's not touching, and then I'll tighten it up. Doesn't have to be super tight. That is a small bolt. And then, last but not least, we're going to tighten up the upper bracket bolts by hand. So I just zipped them in with the impact lightly. Just going to do them evenly, and then nice and tight. Don't have to kill it, just like that. And that, my friends, is how you change the upper front right motor mount on an Acura TL. So we'll go ahead, we'll put our power steering reservoir back inside its clip. We'll put our plastics back on. And then I'll show you underneath. So we have our oil pan with the wood. Going to lower this. And we'll pull that right out. Then we can lower the rest of the car down with that. Nice and gentle. Make sure there's nothing underneath. All right, folks, so moral of the story, preventative maintenance is key. You'll see here how bad that is ripped. Let's see if we can get a better view. She gone. So I was hearing a little bit of clunking up front, and I thought I would start with the easy stuff, and I'm glad I did. So I'm willing to bet that the front and rears are not far behind, but that's a project for another day. Hopefully this helped out. If you like the video, feel free to share, subscribe, and like it. And if you have any comments, feel free to leave them below. Like I said, hopefully it's helped somebody out. And if it did, great. And perfect. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you guys next time.